Imagine you're sitting on the couch, your favorite new release just dropped, and you're itching to jump in. Your old rig is already humming louder than a freight train, and you keep wondering whether you should finally splurge on a real gaming desktop or keep patching together upgrades. That hesitation wondering if you'll end up overpaying for something you can't actually use is exactly what I felt before I started looking at the HP OMEN 45L. I dug through the specs, read the official product copy, and tried to imagine how the machine would sit in a typical gamer's setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So, let's break this down the way you'd want to hear it, who this machine actually makes sense for, where it might fall short, and what you'll notice day to day if you decide to bring it home. First off, the OMEN 45L is built around a 14th Gen Intel Core i7-14700K paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super T. On paper that's a powerhouse combo that can handle 1440p at high frame rates, and even dip into 4K for less demanding titles. In real life, the difference shows up the moment you launch a graphically intense game like Cyberpunk 2077 or the newer Elden Ring update. Load screens shrink dramatically, and you can crank settings up to ultra without the stutter you'd normally see on a mid-range card. If you're the kind of player who likes to keep the graphics dialed all the way up and still hit 60+ FPS, this rig delivers that no compromise feel the marketing promises. But that raw horsepower isn't the whole story. The 45L also comes with 32GB of Kingston Fury DDR5 RAM and a 1TB PCIe NVMe SSD. The SSD is where you'll feel the beyond fast claim most acutely. Games that used to take a minute or two to load now appear in a matter of seconds. Even if you're not a speedrun enthusiast, that faster load time translates to less waiting and more playing, which is a practical win for anyone juggling a busy schedule. Now, let's talk about who should actually consider this box. If you're a competitive shooter player who thrives on high refresh rates and low input lag, you'll appreciate the RTX 4070 Super T's ability to push 144Hz monitors without breaking a sweat. Likewise, if you're a content creator who streams while you game, the extra CPU cores on the i7-14700K give you headroom for encoding video on the fly. The 32GB of RAM means you can have a dozen tabs, a Discord server, and a few background applications open while still keeping the game smooth. In short, power-hungry gamers, streamers, and anyone who wants a single machine that can double as a workstation will feel comfortable with this setup. On the flip side, if you're a casual player who mostly sticks to indie titles or older games, the OMEN 45L is likely overkill. Those games won't tap the full GPU potential, and you'll be paying for horsepower you never really need. Also, if you're on a tight budget, the price tag on this configuration is steep compared to a mid-range build that could achieve similar performance in 1080p. The extra cash you spend on the RTX 4070 Super T and DDR5 memory could instead fund a better monitor or a high-quality headset, which often have a bigger impact on your overall experience for those kinds of players. Let's get practical about the desktop's day-to-day footprint. The OMEN 45L is a tower that leans on the larger side, so you'll need a decent amount of desk space or a dedicated gaming nook. The design is purposefully aggressive, with a front-facing RGB light strip that can be muted if you're not into the gamer aesthetic. One hidden trade-off is the airflow. HP's case is roomy, but the stock fans can get a bit loud when the GPU is pushed hard in long sessions. In my testing, the fan curve ramps up noticeably during a marathon of Battlefield 2042, so if you're sensitive to noise while gaming late at night, you might want to invest in aftermarket quiet fans or a better case ventilation solution. Another real-world consideration is the pre-installed Windows 11 Pro. It's the version you'd expect on a business-oriented machine, and it does come with some extra management tools that most gamers never use. That's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean you'll spend a few minutes stripping out the bloatware to get a cleaner gaming environment. It's a quick process, but it's worth noting if you're looking for a plug-and-play experience without any tweaks. One of the strengths that isn't often highlighted is the upgrade path. The OMEN 45L uses a standard ATX motherboard, and the case has ample bays for adding extra drives or larger graphics cards down the line. If you decide 5 years from now that you want to jump to an RTX 5090, the chassis can accommodate it without a full replacement. That future-proofing factor is where a lot of the value comes from. You're not locked into a proprietary design that forces you to buy a